12 hits for your Philadelphia Phillies in a 6-2 getaway day win at Detroit. Ricky Batalico, Michael Barkan. This is Phillies Postgame Live, presented by our friends at Cure Auto Insurance. Ricky Bo, we'll get to the pitching in a moment, but you mentioned that the bottom of the lineup was kind of getting off the schneid. Certainly Brandon Marsh did. What a game he had. Stott had a hit. Dahl had a hit. But the top getting into the act by game's end as well.
Yeah, by game's end, and they needed it. I mean, we were talking about Bryce Harper not getting another shot at picking up a base hit in his game, but he did get another shot, and wouldn't you know it, Mr. Everything gets his hit in the ninth inning, and so all is good there. Trey Turner had a couple of hits. Everybody's happy in the lineup. I mean, everybody except for Alec Bohm. I mean, Bohm was 0 for 5 in this. The Phillies picked up 12 hits. You look at what Brandon Marsh did. I mean, 4 hits, 4 RBIs, ho-hum of a day.
Yeah.
Stott was 1 for 3 and scored 3 runs. So, I mean, things picking up in the right direction for the Phillies.
They get their 16th series win, their 3rd consecutive series win, and it's amazing how you look at things in Major League Baseball. They are now 4 of their last 5 wins. They have been struggling on the road of late, but maybe put that to rest. We talked about the tougher teams coming in shortly. Yeah. They had to get these wins.
You're going to see tougher teams. We already know that. We know who's coming in. You know you're going to have to step it up a notch when you see the Dodgers and you see the Braves and you see the Cubs. Those are the teams you have to take that extra step upwards. But for right now, you took 2 out of 3 from Detroit, exactly what you're supposed to do. I mean, if not for Skubal, who knows? Skubal was outstanding in last night's game, but the Phillies come back today. They score 6 runs and win today's game. Now it's on to the Marlins. You can't really be looking ahead. I know this team can't be. We can. They cannot. As players, you got to be looking at your next series. If you look past that, next thing you know, the Marlins come in here, you never know.
I heard the Marlins are a bunch of bottom feeders.
I've said that. You know what? Maybe I'll say that at some point.
I think you should.
Oh, by the way, I just want to throw credit out there. You're just cutting me off and throwing
I didn't cut you off. You ended a sentence with a period.
I haven't been angry this year. You might make me angry today.
I hope so.
Well, I just want to throw this out there. The bullpen was outstanding in this one.
It sure was.
And obviously, what happened to Spencer Turnbull, that's going to be an issue. Another issue for the Phillies. They've battled through a Trey Turner injury, a Marsh injury, a JT injury now, and now it looks like, well, I guess a tandem, if you will, at the number 5 spot.
We're going to see what happens there. Let's send it out to Ruben Amaro Jr. in Detroit. Called today's game with Tom McCarthy. Ruben, this game was a win.
Wait. Is Ricky done? Is Ricky done talking?
Hang on.
Because I don't want to interrupt him.
I know. I just got slapped on the wrist. Are you done talking?
Don't get me angry, Ricky. Don't get me angry.
You're getting him angry. I tell you what, it doesn't take much. Now I got to get him another ice cream. For
Notice how neither one of you will let me get a word in edgewise now.
That's the plan. So, Ruben, we talk about the win. We talk about a 3rd straight series win, 16th series win of the season. All well and good. They won 4 of 5. But let us talk about that 5th rotation spot and Spencer Turnbull, who really had pitched brilliantly in April there and then went to the bullpen with Taijuan Walker coming up. And now he's pulled from the game today with right shoulder tenderness. What's going to happen with that 5th starter spot?
It's a great question, Michael, and like we talked a little bit about on the broadcast. I mean, you never have enough pitching. You're never going to go through a season with just 5 or 6 or even 7 or 8 starting pitchers. Sometimes it's going to take 10 or 12. I mean, it's a rare moment when you don't have to dip into the pool, so to speak. So it's a little bit of a concern. I hope it's not a big deal. I hope they took him out just for precautionary reasons, because I think they're being careful with a lot of players right now. Maybe he tweaked it a little bit. Maybe it's not that big of a deal. Certainly hope not, because you don't want to start losing starting pitching, especially with the way these guys are going about it. But hey, anytime you lose anybody off of that mound, 60 feet, 6 inches from the plate, then you have a little bit of a concern.
Talk a little bit about Brandon Marsh. Obviously, he had those 4 strikeouts the other day. He comes into this one 4 for 4 in this game, 4 RBIs. And the best part about this, the Phillies, without him in the lineup, would have been 0 for 9 with runners in score position. He was 2 for 2 in that category.
Yeah, no, that was a big day for him. I think it was important. He talked about it in the post-game interview that he just had not, timing-wise, he had not been on the fastball. And if you're not on the fastball at the major league level, it makes it awfully tough, because these guys can exploit you. And today, he just had really good at-bats right from Jump Street. He takes a fastball against a left-hander and pops it up the middle and sort of set the tone. Drives another fastball that's out over the plate against a righty, drives it out to the opposite field. And you sometimes forget about how much power this guy has because he does have a ton of it. Doesn't hit a ton of home runs yet, but I think at some point he will start hitting more and more as his confidence grows. But he was obviously on the fastball today, and it paid off.
Ruben, read into this statistic for us, if you will. This is since June 17th. Brandon Marsh is the 5th different Philly to have a 4-hit game since June 17th. Last 9 games, Marchand on the 17th, Castellanos, Harper, Bohm, and then Marsh today. What's that say about this lineup and the depth of this roster?
Well, we've talked about it a lot. I mean, it's one of the best lineups in baseball, top to bottom. We still don't have JT on there, and Turner was out for quite some time. So it is one of the best offensive teams, if not the best offensive team in all of baseball, and it's really impressive. And the other part of this is that, it's not just like the everyday players. There are guys that are stepping up all the time, like Marchand. We've talked about Edmundo Sosa all the time. David Dahl's come up with some big base hits. Cody Clemens, when he had an opportunity to come in and play, he hits a couple of home runs and had some big days and helps out the ball club. So not only do they have the depth of their starting 9 or so, but they also have some depth, beyond their major league club even.
All right, last question for you. If you were the GM of this team, and you were, do you have to be looking specifically for outfield help come trade deadline, if not 5th starter help?
I mean, to me, I'm looking for ways to improve. If I can improve it incrementally and put ourselves in a position to win a World Series with a piece or two, I'm looking to try to do it. I believe in pitching. I believe in trying to acquire as much pitching as possible. Yes, would it be great if there was more offensive production in the outfield? I think that'd be great. But I'd go pitching first, offense second.
All right. I'm thinking Luis Robert, White Sox. That's my.
Thank you. Well, you just
guy.
Make a call. Just make a call to White Sox. Make it happen.
Okay. I'll do it after the show.
Ruben, you know how easy it is.
It's very simple to acquire players. Very simple.
I know it. All right, my friend, thanks so much. We'll see you back in town. Ruben Amaro Jr. in the booth at Comerica Park. Look at the superlatives from this season. And when you look at a 53-27 record, Ricky, that is the 3rd best record through 80 games for a Phillies team. The best in 1976, they were 55-25. And then the 1890 team at 54-26. And then this Phillies edition tied with the 93 team at 53-27, plus 122 run differential, best in baseball, 45-19 in the last 64, following an 8-8 start, on pace for 107 wins. Franchise record set in 2011 is 102, and a 31-12 home record. Although 22-15, they're on pace for about 95 wins on the road record right now, which is not too shabby.
They're just playing really good baseball. They're playing baseball like it should be played. You should go into every series and want to win every series and then move on from there. They take 2 out of 3 from Detroit. I mean, a lot of people would say, well, how do they not sweep Detroit? It's hard to sweep in Major League Baseball. You know what? Those other guys in that other uniform, they get paid too. So, I mean, it's just one of those things where if you continue to take 2 out of 3, you're going to be in really good shape in this league. Anytime you hear shoulder, though, it's usually not a good thing and usually ends you up on the IL.
And no doubt amped up today as he went against the team that he had played for 10 seasons. It was bittersweet at best the way he left Detroit, ended up going to the minors. They sent him down. He was contending injury. They let him go, and it really turned out to be a mess. And then signed with the Phillies for $2 million versus the $18 million Taijuan Walker's getting this season. But he had pitched very, very well. All in April, starts 1.67 ERA and a 3-0 mark, and you thought, let's continue that.
No. You thought that.
I did think that.
There's a lot of people out there that were like, well, why can't you just keep him pitching? Why can't you keep him pitching? I mean, there's always a danger in what happened here. You take him out of the rotation, you put him into the bullpen, and then bring him back to the rotation. There's always a danger in doing that. It's not an easy thing to do. You're not necessarily stretched out to be a starting pitcher again, and then everything kind of goes differently for you again. And, you almost feel bad for him because the way he was pitching early on was special. I mean, he was nasty. And then when you go in the bullpen, he loses a little bit of a feel. He gives up some runs out there in the bullpen. And now back in the starting rotation, he comes back and he doesn't feel right in the shoulder. It's not good news.
It's sad. There's obviously two main injuries for a pitcher usually, and that's the elbow or the shoulder.
Yep.
You've had both of them. When you talk shoulder and you hear right stiffness, you're not a doctor, but give me your thoughts on this.
Never really understood what stiffness meant. That means you have pain in your shoulder. That to me is never a good thing because there's so many connectors that go in there. I mean, you have your rotator cuff, you have your labrum, you have your bicep tendon. They all go into that shoulder. So, I mean, if something's irritated, if something's hurting a little bit, sometimes maybe it's just very minor. It could just be, your muscles didn't react right to what you were doing today, and hopefully that's the case.
These guys know that. Between Jose Ruiz, is there an INT?
There's two I's in Phillies.
There sure is. You know that. There they are right there. Jose Ruiz gets the win. Matt Strahm, Orion Kerkering, he's okay, I hear.
He's pretty good.
Pretty good. Jeff Hoffman and Jose Alvarado, he lets in a run. But here's the thing, Ricky Bo, other than Alvarado, you look at 1 inning apiece, and you look at 12 pitches, 16 pitches, 18 pitches, 13, 11, 16. They're not wasting their arsenal pitching extended time, which I think is good going forward.
A lot of cruise control. A lot of these guys kind of get out there, and when they get ahead, they finish quickly in the counts. You're not seeing a lot of 3-2 counts, with the exception of Soto, and Soto's usually like that. Today, not so much. But you look at Alvarado, I think he's just overthrowing the baseball today. He's trying to get that little extra on his fastball, and he just didn't have it in there today. But you look for him in the closer games anyways. This isn't a thing that really excites me. I'm sure it doesn't excite him to go into a 5-run ball game and you know what, try to mop things up. I don't care about that. I look at everybody else in between. Matt Strahm has been unbelievable this season and doing it a lot with a fastball. And this coming from a left-hand pitcher who's not throwing 99 miles an hour. Yeah, he throws hard, but, I mean, he's very sneaky, very deceptive. Ball gets on you quick. There may be 2 or 3 all-stars out in the bullpen right now. Matt Strahm is definitely one of them.
Alvarado?
I think Alvarado, and I believe Hoffman deserves it also.
That'd be pretty special with the other 6 or 7 guys. I mean, it's going to be Phillies pinstripes.
They're a pretty good group. I was looking at the numbers today, and the one thing that is impressive is how Rob and Caleb Cotham have used them. They don't get overused, not even close. When you look at Hoffman today, I believe this was his 31st appearance of the year. Think about that. They're 80 games in.
Yeah.
You only have 31 appearances. My goodness, that would be fantastic.
That equals freshness. All right, Rob Thomson right now, post-game manager's office, and he is asked about the status of today's starter, Spencer Turnbull.
We'll find out a little bit more tomorrow. He's going to get some more testing tomorrow, but he felt a grab in the back of his shoulder, and I didn't want to take any chances. So went to the bullpen. The bullpen did a great job.
Was that something that he just felt in the 3rd inning there? Or have you felt
Second last pitch. He threw a curveball on his second last pitch, and he felt it.
Did you, when you came out to talk to the umpire, was that to say we're going to report we have an injured pitcher?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, and and Soto ended up having enough time, but just in case he didn't, I just alert them that we've got a potential, an injury, and he's coming out of the game.
Do you feel like you might have to, even if the tests are okay, like you might have to miss some time here?
Yeah, I don't know. We'll know more tomorrow once we find out what's going on and how he feels. And so.
What did you think about him before he came out of the game?
Thought he was good. He gives up the leadoff home run to Veerling, but other than that, I thought he was pretty good. He walked a couple guys, but I thought his stuff was good. Slider was good. Yeah, it's fine.
If your rotation depth had to be tested a little bit here, what's your confidence in sort of the different options you might have to turn to?
Oh, I think the leading candidate would be Mercado if we had to do something, and he's not that far away from his last start. So he's still stretched out, and I'm pretty confident in that.
Okay.
Marsh had kind of been struggling a little bit.
Yeah.
What was different today? What did you see from him at the plate today that, you know?
He was just staying through the baseball. You know, the opposite field home run tells you a lot about his swing, and you know, he was a little bit more in attack mode. He looked great. That was big for him. 4 RBIs, 4 hits. Everybody had a hit, I think, except for Boner. But so it was a good offensive day, really.
Was there an adjustment or something Marsh had been working on in terms of being maybe a little late before on fastballs of late, or no?
Well, I think a little bit more in attack mode on the fastball, and just being able to stay through the middle of the diamond.
A couple of those hits were against lefties too.
Yeah,
I know they were
it's
relievers,
good.
But
Dahl had a base hit against the lefty and a sac fly, so it's good to see.
You touched on it briefly, but your bullpen really stepped up.
They really did. I mean, they threw great. Soto was outstanding. Ruiz, I mean, up and down the line. It was a really good day, and really we should have close to a full bullpen tomorrow. So that's a testament to what our starters have done in the last few days. So it's good.
Rob Thomson making it fairly clear that if the Phillies have to go a different direction, should Spencer Turnbull be on the shelf for longer than they wish, it would be the rookie Michael Mercado, who was called up on Sunday, made his debut Monday, and retired the side in order on just 15 pitches. Got Carson Kelly out on strikeout, then a fly out, then a ground out. And here's a 24-year-old, 25-year-old who's 6'7", 6'8", and ready to go.
Well, he's ready to go, and he's here. And I know a lot of people will say, wait a minute, he's a bullpen guy. He just came out of the bullpen. That's, well, partially true. He had 10 starts in Lehigh Valley with a 1.98 ERA. So, I mean, that's pretty good. The guy could throw it a little bit. Not a ton of innings down there, 41 innings as a starter. So he's averaging just over 4 innings per start. But I look at it this way. If you already have the arm here, why not?
Yeah, with an ERA as well in the 1.7s, which is, I know it's AAA hitting, but still.
Guy could throw it. We saw him the other night. We know he could throw it. It's just a matter of getting him stretched out and getting him into games now. And obviously, if they're going to need a 5th starter, it sounds like that's the route they're going to go in their next go-around.